Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion. I'm Peter, and today, you guys, I am joined by cosplayer and YouTuber Stryfe the Warrior. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm just gonna say it's about time I finally got on this show. No, no, but jokes
Yeah.
aside, I'm very, very honored to be here by one of the OG Cobra Kai content creators that's paved the way for guys like me. So thanks for having me on, Peter. I
Oh yeah.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the kind words. You guys, Stryfe will be joining me today, to share his really fun weekend. He attended the um, Cobra Kai, well, Big Texas Comic Con. I'm looking at the like this image on screen. I hopefully you guys can see the image too for those that are watching at home. But it says Big Texas Comic Con, but it's one word. It's kind of it looks a little weird, but it is supposed to be two words, or is that's not a mistake, right? That's actually what it looks like.
Yeah, no, that's their branding. That's so yeah, I usually try to just call it BTCC or Big Texas Comic Con, but yeah, or Big Texas, I've heard people throw that around too over the weekend. So, but yeah, that is their branding. It used so fun fact, it actually used to be Alamo City Comic Con back in
Okay.
the day, and then before that, it was part of Wizard World when Wizard World was still a thing, which I think now is Fan Expo. So,
Fan Expo. Yep, yep. We used to have the Wizard World as well. Yeah, because when this new branding of theirs, it makes it look like it's supposed to be BTC instead of BTCC, you know.
hmm
So I'm trying to hashtag, dive, and things get a little bit difficult when you don't really know what to look up. But yeah, it looks like a fun weekend. This was October 11th through the 13th. A lot of cast were in attendance. Um, I'm just again, for those that are looking at home, in the image that Big Texas Comic Con shared, we had Hannah Keppel, Peyton List, Jacob Bertrand, Ralph Macchio, William Zabka, Sholo Maraduena, Gianni DiCenzo, and Vanessa Rubio. So, and I don't know, should I go through the names just in case for the for those that don't know those names? You got Moon, Tori, Hawk, Daniel, Johnny, Miguel, Dimitri, and not Vanessa again, Armin. Oh man. Uh yeah, so there's got to be some sort of challenge where they probably have it right where it flashes like the pictures of the cast members and you gotta name as many correctly or something. Either way, so before we get into like your weekend, I mentioned that you're a YouTuber. Can you talk about your channel, some of the videos that you've made for Cobra Kai for season six, and just kind of your history with the Karate Kid?
Sure. Yeah. So, if we want to go way, way back, Karate Kid Part Two was actually the first of the series or franchise that I saw, and I was probably like maybe 3 or 4 years old when I was at my babysitter's house and whatnot. I remember seeing. So I watched it kind of out of order. I watched Karate Kid Part 3 and Next Karate Kid back when they showed it on Disney Channel, I think during the 2000s or something like that. And then I watched the Karate Kid, the original, back probably when I was maybe 14 or 15. So that might have been like oh 04, oh 05. Flash forward to Cobra Kai. I've been a fan of the show since 2018 when it debuted on YouTube back in the day. And as far as getting into making videos, for me, I just happened to notice that not a lot of people were talking about Sean at first when he debuted in the Cobra Kai season 3 trailer, because I had actually played through quite a bit the first Cobra Kai game that came out a couple months prior, and
Right.
I was like, well, who's this guy? He's got to be like some kind of like we haven't seen him in in season 1 and 2 yet, right? And then so when the trailer dropped, I was like, oh, this guy was kind of like a sneak peek before like season 3 even came out, and I noticed a lot of people weren't talking about that, so I did like a trailer breakdown of that, and then I did this video, which is one of my most viewed videos now. Uh, it was called "Why Johnny Lawrence is the Better Sensei," and I was actually comparing a lot of parallels that the writers purposely wrote for Johnny, where he did a lot of things that Mr. Miyagi did, and how his relationship with Miguel parallels what Miyagi's relationship with Daniel, and then just happened to resonate with a lot of people, and then yeah, it just kind of kickstarted things for me, and then so yeah, here we are now. As far as like some of the season 6 videos, I did do my latest one. I think I did was on Crease, at least long form. I did a very I did a short video that not a lot of people are happy with, of me calling Johnny a hypocrite because he's doing the same things that he accused Miyagi of, but hey, it is what it is. But still a lot of fun. I love doing like deep dive character analysis, of course. Like especially Dimitri's heel turn, so to speak, for those wrestling fans out there. And of course, Quan, one of like definitely one of my new favorite characters. Excited to see a lot more of him. Part two coming up in less than a month away.
Yeah, you have some very interesting videos. You have a very keen eye, and you pick up on like the references to like Rocky, and so you make some like Rocky related videos as well. Shout outs to Robin Burge, one of the hosts of uh, Karate Kid Minute. He did reference like one of your videos or maybe
Oh wow,
videos. Yeah, you had a name drop, shout out. Definitely Strife the Warrior was mentioned in, I believe it was in their season 6 part 1 recap. Um,
nice.
yeah, and I sent him picture of me and you. So, for the listeners out there, I got to meet Strife earlier this year. Matter of fact, it was right after I got to visit the set. When I went down to Texas for a few days. So yeah, I got to hang out a little bit. I met you through friend of the show, Ken Cole. For
Hmm.
those that are familiar with him. So that's kind of how we got connected. And you have attended many of these cons in the past. Which other ones have you attended where there was a cast member from either the movies or the show?
Yeah, so funny enough, one of the last times Ralph was probably in San Antonio was back when it was still Alamo City, which was 2016. So I was not super keen into the fandom, Karate Kid fandom, just yet. Cobra Kai kind of renewed my interest for that. But I actually went to that convention to meet Amy Jo Johnson, the original Mighty Morphin Pink Power Ranger, because she just started doing conventions again. So that was kind of like her comeback, so to speak. So I've been to that one. As far as more recent, I went to Comic Palooza 2021 where Martin Cove was there. Very, very, very nice guy. And then I attended both in 2022 and 2023 Dallas Fan Expo. 2022 had Martin Cove again, Billy Zabka, and Jacob Bertrand. So I got to meet all of them. And then last year, I got to meet Ralph Macchio for the first time, and then Billy Zabka again. So, and also fun fact for like those that may remember from my earlier videos, I actually guested with Billy at a con in 2017, my hometown Victoria Comic Con. So we actually kind of met then too. So he was very nice. Stopped by my table one of the days. Got to shake his hand at the backstage party, so to speak. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. So it's definitely a credit I can tout that like me and Billy guessed at the same con, but I was very blessed to meet him a fourth or fifth time at Big Texas.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, he gets around.
Hmm. For
Don't
sure,
know
for sure.
what to say, but I think a lot of people will have a pretty good opportunity in their lifetime to meet him. He makes the rounds, and anytime he's gonna be local, I will definitely go and say hello for sure. So yeah, I remember meeting Billy, Ralph, and Martin Cove in 2018, and um, I think around then, like I was still, yeah, I mean, I still get starstruck by these guys, and I had never met them, and so yeah, it's been a lot of fun meeting them over the years. Now, who are some that you must? Who's your bucket list? Who's on the bucket list still?
Oh, easily, for sure, top three. I mean, there's really no top three. I just want to meet him. Period. Mary for
Yeah.
sure. Tanner, Yuji. I'd also like to meet Alicia Hannah Kim, and of
Mm,
course Thomasine Griffith.
hmm.
Um, I'd love to also meet. I was about to say is I'm trying to Dallas. And
Okay.
of course, I
Dallas
cannot
Dupree
remember.
Young. Yep.
Yes,
Plays
Dallas is pretty
Kenny.
young. I can't remember Anthony's real name.
Griffin.
Griff.
Griffin. Siepin.
Santo Piero, I think something like that. But yeah, I almost want to
Pietro.
say Gianni
I'd have to look at
because
it.
right, right, right. I almost want to say Gianni because it's like they both start with the letter G. And Una, I think Una. So I think having if I meet all of them, I can pretty much meet like the core cast of Cobra Kai for sure. So
Yeah, let's see here. I don't know. I don't know if Una, Dallas, and Griffin have been making making the rounds.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
they have yet. I don't think so, but somebody will correct me, I'm sure, if I'm mistaken. But I think everybody else has. I believe Lisa Hannah Kim, I think it was what last year, maybe her and Peyton List appeared
Hmm
somewhere. I feel I kind of remember seeing
Yeah,
something with them too and a microphone. Actually, was it Steel City? I think it was at Steel City they went.
maybe it was right after season 5. That much I remember, and I know
Okay,
it
so maybe it
happened
was a
outside of
couple years
Texas.
ago.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I believe, yeah, it wasn't a big one. It might have been maybe like four, maybe five of them at that point. But the one that you attended was a pretty big turnout as well.
hmm
I look at Steel City and Big Texas Comic Con kind of like 1A, 1B, about the same amount of actors. Actually, I think you guys had eight. We might have had seven or eight. I'm not
I think
sure.
so.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to be like which one had the better one, but of the like the Steel City, who was in attendance that you were like, oh man, like I really wish that person would have came to Big Texas.
Oh man, easily like Yuji, Marion Tanner, and of
Right?
course
Yeah.
I can't forget about Elizabeth Shue and also
Right.
Tamlin. I mean those are definitely on my bucket list for
Oh
sure
yeah,
too. But
Tamlin. Does she make go to
I don't think
cons?
so. I don't think she does
Yeah.
cons, but I
I
love
I
for her to do it. You know.
but I think I mean I don't know if there's if like how people to decide whether or not to kind of
Right.
make their rounds. But Tamlin's in so many things right now. You like she's still like super actively working. I
hmm
wonder if she just doesn't have the time for it. But
Right.
yeah, 100%. I think her. I think she's probably the last one I would like to meet. I feel like I've met just about everybody else in person that
Also, I can't believe I'm forgetting this guy. This guy shouted me out, Sean Kanan. Of course,
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. See,
Oh
I try
yeah.
to I try to make sure I get everybody, and now I'm like, oh, I'm on the spot. Sean, please, please.
Yeah,
I definitely
you're
want to
right.
meet.
Okay, so Sean
Yeah.
and Alicia Hannah Kim, I have not met her, and Tamlin. Feel like I've met just about everybody else.
hmm
Yeah, I'd have to think
See,
about it. And
I
go
was just gonna
ahead.
say real quick. Yeah. So in a couple years ago, right, I think right before or right after season 5 debuted, Sean was in Texas at a con with Ron Thomas, almost said Rob
Oh, right. Yep.
Thomas, Matchbox
Mm-hmm.
20, and also Joe, Kyler. They
All
were
right,
at a
So yeah,
con.
so
I think it wasn't in Austin. I just unfortunately I couldn't make it at the time, but I was like, oh, I could have met him before he was announced for his season 5 comeback. So
yeah. Um, I guess the OG Cobras too. So if they do
hmm
like an exclusive OG Karate Kid, where they, throw Israel Warbe in there too, little Freddie
right.
Fernandez, get them all in there. But I met him. But did you hear my story about meeting him in person?
No, no. Tell me.
So I'll share this if I'm trying to. I don't remember if I shared this on the pod yet, but I had interviewed him before, and he did some lives with me in the Facebook group, and so we've collaborated a few times. And I hit him up and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in New York, if you'll be available." He's like, "Okay." Long story short, he's like, "Cool, let's meet up." And we picked a time and date. And so, shout out to Mikey G. Him and I, we went to Central Park to go meet up Izzy. And Izzy shows up on like a small you know a bike, not a bicycle, but like a. I'm trying to think. Was it like a scooter, like a it's something motorized, something motorized. He showed up in
Right.
something motorized with his teenage daughter. So she's like with him, and he sees me. He's like, "Hey, I recognize you." And I thought he was pulling my leg, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, it's Peter, duh." And he's like, "No, yeah, oh my God, it's Cobra Kai Peter." And so he thought he was meeting up with another Peter that he has that he's mutual friends with through
hmm
somebody else, and he thought this was going to be like a business meeting,
Right.
and it was just like me visiting, like wanting to say hello. So he thought I was completely somebody else, and so he thought that our back and forth was a little weird, and but yeah, seeing him in person that was really nice, and then we ended up having lunch and had a good time. So
Nice.
um.
Nice.
All right, so I also mentioned that you cosplay. What were some of your previous costumes, I guess, that you have dressed
Sure.
up as, and also what did you wear to this one?
Yeah. So yeah, either or cosplays, costumes, whatever you call 'em doesn't really bother me. So for a long time, I was very active in the Power Rangers fandom. So I had a pretty much show replica Green Ranger suit. I had the helmet and everything. I was known for cosplaying that for a few years. I also did a what if version for those that are familiar with the very first Power Rangers movie, when they go to the forest and get their ninjetti powers.
Hmm.
I did a Green Ranger version of like, hey, what if Tommy still had his Green Ranger powers while he was ninjetti? So I've done that. Some other notable ones I've done Waka from Final Fantasy X, Ryu from Street Fighter. I've also done Lance from Pokemon. Some of those stuff. Razor Ramon was one of my more recent favorites. I love doing that one. And as far as attending this convention, so I actually did Mr. Miyagi, which definitely one of my more current favorites to do now. And then I also did Green Ninja Jetty again, which I had not worn that costume in, oh man, almost I think it's almost 7 years. And then I also did a debut cosplay of the final fight Daniel from Karate Kid Part 2 at the Oman Festival. So yeah, so there was a lot of fun dressing up this past weekend.
Awesome. So in preparation, now you handed the cast some gifts. Can you talk about kind of the idea behind that, why you decided to do something like that leading up to the con?
Sure. So it actually kind of started last year. So when I met Ralph for the first time, I wanted to. So this is something I did. Well, it kind of goes back a little bit further than that. So the previous year at Dallas Fan Expo, I'd like ordered two or three drums and kind of the same thing that we'll have pictures of here later. I hand drew and hand painted these Miyagi-Do drums. So in
Hmm.
2022, as Mr. Miyagi at Dallas Fan Expo, I'd given a couple fans of like, hey, here's a hand drum. Like now you're gonna learn how to do the drum technique, just kind of like in character and things. I also kind of gave out some Miyagi-Do headbands. So fast forward to 2023, I met Ralph. I said, "Hey, Ralph, do you accept gifts from fans?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, and so I just kind of gave him the hand drum, and he really liked it and whatnot. He also liked the Miyagi cosplay as well, and so I was like, I kind of want to do that for this convention too, because like a lot of the main characters ended up being representing Miyagi-Do, and I even gave a couple drums to those that are even not like fighters in the show. Like Hannah received one, Vanessa received one as well, and Steve Burns as well, which we'll definitely get to that later. But yeah, no, it was something that I wanted to do for the actors because I know sometimes some actors might be very lucky. Like Ralph was able to keep the car from the original Karate Kid film. So I was just like, hey, maybe they appreciate this prop and whatnot. And they were all very super appreciative of it, which was nice. So
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool item to have. That's not something you can go on Amazon and type in like Cobra Kai Karate Kid hand drum. Like that's just not
right,
available. So
right.
for you to kind of hand make those are really, really cool. All right, so I think we'll just jump in and go straight to the first picture, and it is the hand drum. So again, if you're able to see the video at home,
Hmm.
you it looks like you kind of used a pencil, kind of drew out the bonsai tree before painting it over. That looks
Right.
very clean.
Yeah, so the one on the right was an older one that I had that I was going to use for Daniel. And you can kind of see in the picture there's a reflection of the Miyagi-Do tree. So
Oh yeah.
there's no tracing or anything. I was just kind of looking at the thing and just kind of redrawing, recreating as much as I could. For like the sun, I think I used some kind of cap that was just like, okay, this would kind of fit like the I guess with diameter or perimeter of the whatever circumference of the drum, and then I just kind of drew around it, and so yeah, so that was kind of like the process, and then as we'll kind of see in some of these other pictures, I just kind of painted it like did one color at a time as far as painting, let it dry, and then kind of redid it over again. So.
So the hand drum, did you make those or did you order them?
So I did not make the hand drums.
Okay.
The part that I created was just, of course, drawing and painting on it. So I ordered these from Amazon. You can kind of get them almost in bulk, really. So it was really cool that they sold those. And those were kind of like what I've ordered for 2022 and 2023 as well. So
Okay. So I wasn't wrong. You still can't get like the official ones, but you can
right.
at least order the drums. Okay, so if you want to
Hmm.
make it yourself, then you can go on Amazon. They're available. So I might have to
Right.
look them up now.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
All right, and so this in this next image, you got a few that had already been painted. Well, the sun is painted orange, and it looks like you got the trees
Right.
painted brown, and just needed the leaves here.
Right. Yeah. So that was one of the first things, and that was the thing too. Is just like and I'm like not, I've done some cosplay prop work before. I think these drums came out a lot better as far as like the details because I kind of really took my time with these compared to before. If
Mm,
you see, for those watching at home too, you'll see a Green Ranger medallion in there. I was also kind of giving that a fresh coat
mm,
for that. So that's kind of why that's in there. So yeah. So then. So yeah, so we got the leaves, and then this was the last part, at least for that side, because I did it both sides basically, was the black outlines for like the trees and stuff like that. Because the logo itself is very, it's not like they just do like an outline over all the leaves. It's usually just kind of like on the underside. So I was
mm,
just kind of doing that, and then doing like
mm.
some details on like the bark. So some small
Did you
stuff.
consider adding the eagle to it? The new logo?
I didn't at the time. I probably should have. It would have been probably a good. So that's actually a good idea. So
All right.
definitely a good idea.
So who's all pictured? You're dressed as Miyagi holding a bone tie.
Hmm.
Did you get that from Luruso Auto?
No, I did not. That also came from Amazon. Which fun fact, you don't see it on this side, but Ralph signed that last year. That was the bonsai tree that he signed. And if I ever meet Yuji, I might get him to sign the other side. So
There you go.
so yeah, we have that. So my friend, one of my best friends, Charles, he's also in the voice acting industry. He's
Mm,
dressed up as my Daniel with his drum as well. And that's my girlfriend Evie, who is dressed as I might get this name wrong, so please forgive me. Maria Takuchi. It's a city J-pop artist known for the song "Plastic Love." It was a song that kind of went viral a few years ago. If you might have heard about that story, because there was a
uh,
whole, so like long story short, there was this thing where this guy uploaded the song, and then he uploaded this picture of her, which wasn't the official album art, but then there was some kind of conflict where because like this photographer came forward and said, "Hey, I don't own the rights to that song, but I own the rights to that picture." So there was kind of so like it was the
mm,
song would kind of get re-uploaded and taken down. So now they finally got that all settled out and whatnot. So she was representing the artist that day. So
okay.
yeah.
I noticed that your friend Charles here is dressed as Karate Kid One Daniel from
Hmm.
the All Valley, rocking the drums because you're saving a different look for yourself, right?
Yes, yes, for
Which
sure.
easier did. All right. All right. Nice picture of the group there. Here's another angle.
Hmm.
You got the canvas belt too.
Yeah, JC Penney. So yeah,
Mm,
so I really wanted to do like about as accurate and you can kind of see so like the side of my back pocket I have like some towels there too.
rag.
So
Yeah.
it's very like typically like if I'm posing, some people just ask, like, hey, can we take a picture of you? I'll either just kind of hold the tree or I'll do like the Miyagi-Do kata Indian pose. But there've been occasions where I'll pull out both of and do like that the wax on wax off motion. So it's always fun. So
Now I do notice that you did your hair differently than
mhm.
before when you dressed up as Miyagi. Can you talk about the two different hairstyles?
Oh man. Yeah, so the very first time I did Miyagi in 2021, we actually cut my hair with the receding razor. Like we actually receded the hair back to kind of match like Pat Morita, right? So did that, slicked everything back, and then we kind of did the spray paint. So the funny story about that, like I told my girlfriend, I was like, okay, since you cut this front part really low, right, you're gonna have to do the rest. No, it's okay. So she shaved it off, and then like when my hair all finally grew back, the barber went the barber went she was like, what the heck happened to your hair? Because like you could tell the front was very very low and
Right.
whatnot. So then after that in 2022 I just what we ended up doing was like kind of grow out my hair again. And that was like for a long time too, I think for months. And then what we did that time is instead of doing the razor, we put like some wax and then we had some makeup to kind of match like the front part because you know how Miyagi kind of has like a little bit of a receding
Yeah, yeah,
hairline and whatnot. And then in 2023, then this year as well, we decided just to kind of forego the wax. I was like, hey, I'll just do natural, just kind of like try to imitate, hairstyles best I could. So
yeah. Okay.
whatnot. So
Th this next one, I'm assuming, is a mother and son duo that you just took a picture with.
yeah, yeah, they were. I really appreciate how she had like the shirt from
Yeah.
the chopsticks scene. So I was waiting in line, I think for either Steve Burns or it might have been one of the other photo ops and whatnot. So it was funny because I kind of looked to him and I said, I just like bowed to him. They bowed to me, and I was like, hey, can we get a quick picture? So yeah, I love doing stuff like that in character. So yes,
Heck
it was
yeah.
really really fun time.
It's a so a little insight on the cosplaying. It's not necessarily just dressing up. You're just talking about like, being in character, right? Can you talk a little bit about the idea of that? It's not
Yeah,
just
so yeah,
just the
sure.
look.
So
Yeah.
like cosplay, that's kind of like also like what the two kind of like original words, right? It's like costume play. So
Hmm.
not everybody does that. Like some people just like to dress up and whatnot. Some people will act in characters, some don't. To me, it doesn't really make a difference. But for me personally, I love doing that because like when somebody, like say, oh hey, it's Mr. Miyagi, then I'll just like do like a movie quote or something like that or a bow and whatnot. I just love doing stuff like that, especially even more so when I was the Green Ranger. Like I would do, do stuff like that too. And so yeah, for me, I think adding like the character kind of just, adds to that person's experience a little bit more. So I was like, hey, if I can make them happy, for a quick minute, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, if as we continue this and it's just other fans, you just go ahead throw in like what's behind what's the story about?
yeah.
All right. I mean,
Oh,
self-explanatory if you're looking at this picture. You talk about this.
yeah, this picture. Oh man, there was so the funny thing about this, I saw this kid walking around as Johnny when we were waiting for William Zapka and he hadn't showed up yet. But we were like in one of the
Specifically,
first
which
lines.
which which Johnny?
Oh, which of course, Halloween Night Karate Kid 1 Johnny, for those listening at home. So,
Yeah.
it was so great. That's actually a future cosplay I might consider doing myself and one I had kind of considered for a while. So, this was I think after the photo op and I finally was able to see him again. And I asked his mother, "Hey, can we get a quick picture?" And whatnot. She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "We saw you earlier and you're like one of the only other original characters we saw from the first film."
Right.
And I was like, yeah, it's really cool. So, so he did the punch at first, or he was kind of like punching. I was like, hey, turn the other way, and then like just give me like a fierce, like face, and that's what we kind of like did the like kind of reenacting the movie, where
Yeah.
I'm like kind of blocking the punch. So, so yeah, it was like a lot of fun.
It's a good one. Did you step on his nuts?
No, no, no. That was it. That's all you see here is just
Oh,
blocking the
that would have been a
punch.
good
So
pose too. You
yeah,
just gotta,
just throw him over my shoulder, just
yeah,
chop him. So
method
yeah.
picture taking. You gotta go all in, right? This kid's got the face paint. He's got the hair, and he's looking legit here. So you gotta finish him off. All
Yeah.
right.
So
Okay. Next picture. Ah, it's a video.
Joe, I'm here with your best friend. We just want to say hi. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. I hope that you enjoy the last parts of the final season, and I hope you're having a good day.
all right, so story behind this video. My
And I hope
friend,
you guys heard it too. That was Peyton
yes.
List. It was a clip.
Yeah, so my friend, huge fan of Tori. But unfortunately he could not make it that weekend. And so I had a photo op with Peyton first and I was like, "Hey, look who I met," kind of like teasing and things like that. So, but what he didn't know was and I wasn't sure if Peyton was going to do it or not, but then I saw somebody in front of me after I was waiting in her line for a bit was they asked her to kind of record a quick video message. So I was like, so first kind of going back to this, like how my interaction with her overall, Peyton, very sweet. She took her time with fans. So and I'm not trying to call these fans out that were like in front of us, but there was like kind of like there were like 10 people ahead of us, where they were taking their time with Peyton, and even the handler was kind of like trying to knock on the table, like, all right, come on, speed it up. But
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Peyton's credit, she just took her time with everybody and was very sweet.
Joe,
She was very appreciative of the hand drum. And I said, hey, would you mind just recording this quick video for my friend? And yeah, she did. Complimented my girlfriend's cosplay too, called her very pretty. So there's
Hmm.
there's that. So Peyton, very sweet, very 180 of what people might expect from her character Tori. But Peyton, yeah, all the actors were great that this weekend, but the fact that Peyton was willing to do this for me too was really awesome. So
Nice. Yeah, nice video there. All right, and you got to meet up with a fellow companion from the Facebook group.
yeah, got to meet Raina. She is really great cosplay all weekend. She did three different versions of Dimitri. This one I think is from season 2, episode
Uh,
3, Fire and
on the
Ice.
beach, right? I think it's on the beach.
That and also I think
Valley Fest? Or...
Yeah, Valley Fest. Yes, yes. Because
Okay.
when Dimitri holds the board, and so we got to meet her. We said hi to her earlier, but we were in line for Billy Zapka. So this was actually kind of right when the con was gonna we closed that day because the con only ran from Friday 2 to 8. So I was like, hey, if you're Dimitri, we got to do the Miyagi Okada. So, and I told, I sent her the pictures from the weekend. I said, hey, like if we ever meet up again, like let's do like a video of us doing the kata together.
And
Miyagi and Dimitri.
for those that aren't in the Facebook group, Reina is she I don't remember exactly when she came into the quote unquote fandom in terms of Cobra Kai, but she's a big Gianni slash Dimitri fan. And I forgot the details and how she was able to swing this, but she like asked Gianni via social media to be like her date for some school function. And long story short, he ended up going with her. And so it was really, really cool. And I kind of got to see it like manifest and happen. So yeah, she put it out there in the internet and it happened. So really, really cool story there.
Yeah, Raina
So
very sweet. Got a couple different angles here too. She was in character as Dimitri too, so that was also very great. Yeah, she was it's always cool seeing other fans like other friends, especially if like when I got to meet you, of course, I'd love to meet, Ken Cole someday too and some others that you know, creators or fans or whoever and whatnot. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right, so
all right.
this I'm not sure what oh, there's a drum on somebody's table.
Yes, a certain person Um, to not
We'll get
fast
there.
forward too much. Yes, but yeah, so that person had that drum that day, and I was very, very happy to see that. So
So okay, so we'll come back to it. I think I
yes,
have an
yes.
idea whose drum that is. Okay.
So
All right. So next picture here, you and your girlfriend. Can you describe this? What you guys are wearing?
yes, so this was my secret cosplay. I was kind of keeping close to the chest for a while. I think I texted you and some others day of like, hey, this is what I'm doing. So we are dressed as Daniel and Kumiko from the Oban Festival at the end of Karate Kid Part 2. So my girlfriend had done Kumiko before, and I also did Chosen from Karate Kid Part 2, from the Oban Festival as well. So this was
Hmm.
like my first time doing this. So fun fact, the only other person I knew that has ever done this cosplay is Yuji's wife, because I've seen a
Right.
picture of
Yep.
them two before, and then she was Daniel. So nobody like this was like another costume we kind of had to help piece together. So I ordered the kimono. I actually got so the Miyagi-Do patch you see on that one, that's actually a custom patch I got commissioned for
Okay.
because in the movie, obviously the Miyagi-Do logo, it's brown, green, orange sun and whatnot. In the Karate Kid
Right.
Part 2, you kind of have like almost a pale yellow sunset. The bonsai tree is mostly black with like kind of a red shadow, things
Yeah.
like that. So I had to get that commission for both the front and the back. Well, the same image for both front and back. And so yeah, so we did that. And then also kind of did like some of the battle damage from like the end of the movie.
Mhm.
So I had the pretty accurate blood. It was kind of funny because that was like the last day of the con and we changed, and I tried to wipe as much as I could off like in the restrooms, but there was like some faint things. So I'm surprised like when we stopped for gas, nobody asked me anything because like I have like very faint blood on my face. But yeah, it was
Well, you're clearly Daniel from Karate Kid too. Like I don't know why anybody would ask. Like it's as clear as day. You're like they're just like,
yeah.
oh, just some dude dressed up as Daniel again.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, this was fun, and this was also kind of like on my to-do list for a while too, because nobody's ever really cosplayed this version of Daniel, and of course we got to do both Daniel and Kumiko. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great look. You dressed up as Chosen and her as Kumiko in the last one. Inspired the chipping of those two in Cobra Kai. So,
yeah.
another angle there.
Yeah, this was a good one. I like this
And
one up close. Yes,
all
so
right.
this was one of the so for those listening, we got to take a picture with a young Daniel cosplayer, which I thought this was pretty cool. So we had like both Daniels here, me holding the drum, of course, and then Kumiko in the picture as well. So that was to me that was really cool. That seen a lot of younger fans cosplay too. I don't have any pictures, unfortunately, but I saw at least 3 or 4 Hawks that weekend too. That
Oh wow.
they had like the black Cobra Kai gi from season 1, and then they had like it's like a wig where they had like the red mohawk. and then kind of like a wig and whatnot. So yeah, it was really cool seeing that. I also saw and I wish I got a picture with him. I just didn't get a chance to. I saw a Dre too from Karate Kid 2010 who was in line to meet Ralph
Oh,
Macchio. But she had like the white like the the kung fu shirt and the black pants from like the end of the
oh,
Karate Kid 2010
right. Yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay,
so
what
that
he
was
wore in
pretty
the
cool.
tournament. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what do you wear as Dre Parker?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Ah, look at that.
Yeah, so I was actually not expecting to see this too. So there was actually another Karate Kid Part 2, Daniel. And then I believe his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure, was dressed as one of the skeletons from Halloween Night from Karate Kid Part 1, one of the Cobra Kai. So we got a quick picture with them, and but yeah, he complimented each other on the costumes. So like, it was cool seeing like that. There was like another Karate Kid 2, Daniel, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And his is obviously different. His shirt is like kind of a short sleeve paisley print,
Hmm.
red. Not a bad idea actually. That's
Yeah,
kind of clever if don't have the means for the other type of fabric.
yeah. And
Oh,
honestly too, like the kimono, like my kimono too, I kind of we're probably gonna rework that at some point because it was a little too short, and then also didn't
oh yeah.
close like all the way like I wanted it to. So
If you
so
didn't
yes.
point that out, yeah, then
Yeah.
now I can't unsee that. Like,
That's all good.
yeah,
Yeah.
a
So
stripe, that's real short. Like, this shrink. All
so yeah,
right.
he got the crane kick in too.
He
The
did, he
funny enough,
did.
I did not do a crane kick the entire weekend. So that's gonna be
At
something I'll
all.
do at some
This
point. So
kind of slipped your mind, or
yeah, it's just like because usually if I'm like as Miyagi, I was kind of hold on to the bonsai tree or
ah.
whatnot. So but yeah. And so this was so we got to see Raina one more time. This was season 6, I think the frat party Dimitri shirt that she was wearing.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Who's I'm looking for somebody in the background. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so so we were in line to meet Ralph Macchio, take pictures, and it was kind of funny too because we were just kind of standing off to the side because like the the everybody's like lines were kind of overrunning. And so this was Sunday. So where we were standing was like coincidentally right next to the line we were about to line up anyway. So we were like one of the first ones in in line to meet Ralph Macchio that day and take a picture with him. So yeah, so it was pretty very very lucky for us. So
Yeah. What were how hmm. So the lines that you stood in,
mhm.
I'm trying to like, were they were they moving pretty quick? Like who had some like really long lines?
Yeah, so Ralph, Billy, Sholo for sure had like some very long lines. And the lines were kind of moving I don't want to say quick. But that's
Quick
also kind of
enough.
a good thing
Yeah,
because they were spending time with the fans,
right.
which I got, good stories about all of them really. Now, I'm not gonna lie though, having so because the thing was like so waiting for Billy on Friday, for example, even though we were kind of like the second row in,
Hmm.
if you had a VIP pass, you were kind of able to skip like some of those lines. So
Right.
it was very very like tempting next time to get a VIP pass, at least for me, because like if I'm trying to, because like I was thankfully able to do all the things I need to do on Friday with like the Cobra Kai stuff, um, kind of cut it close and whatnot. But like that was kind of like pretty much my whole day. So like if I had a convention like that again, that'd probably be like a good reason for me to get like a VIP pass. So
Yeah. I know it's not easy for everyone to like, if you plan on seeing everybody, you may not have enough unless you save, obviously, you may not have enough
right.
to also get the VIP. But in my experience at the Steel City Con, we did, so it would behoove you to start saving so that way you can get that pass
Hmm.
when you attend a con where there's a lot of the cast members because you'd be waiting forever,
Right.
and I've seen how some of those long lines can get. So, but those three, yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Now we got a up close of the back of your gi,
Hmm.
or I'm sorry, your
Kimono.
you, your kimono. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, we that was I want to kind of get a picture of that too of me kind of wearing it. So as we see the image came out really, really great. And when my friends over at Bunny Play actually did the back of the gi where they kind of like ran it through the heat press and were able to apply it. So they did a fantastic job with because it was just a plain red kimono before they put that on there, and then my
Mm,
girlfriend sewed the front patches that
okay.
we printed
Yeah, it
out.
looks
So
good. Looks nice and
for sure,
clean.
yeah, it was very came out really really good.
All right. Here's a Let's Be Water print right here.
Yeah, so this kind of actually brings us to, I guess, some of the guest interactions. So
Okay.
um I know this is gonna sound kind of funny, but Billy Zabka is probably tied with Steve Burns for probably best interaction of that weekend, and I'm gonna explain
Okay.
why. So,
Please
Bi-
do.
yes.
Still,
So,
and for those that don't know Steve Burns' name.
yeah, Steve Burns, of course, the first host of Blue's Clues.
Correct.
So yeah, so with Billy Zabka, as I mentioned, so one thing that a lot of people don't know, like the Cobra Kai guests, they kind of I don't want to say they were late, but they flew in that day, so I'm sure they had a very busy schedule, get from the airport, get ready, things like that. So some of them they didn't show like halfway through, but they showed kind of like close to an hour. And when, of course, again, no faults to their own, I'm sure, trying to like get on the plane, get whatnot when it was like very busy, but they still kept a very positive energy with all their fans that weekend, took their time with everybody, which I really appreciate. um, so Billy Zabka is pulled what I call a JDF, and what I mean by that is, for those who don't know, Jason David Frank was the original green uh, green and white Power Ranger. Rest in peace. And what I mean by that is JDF was known for being very, very good and generous with his fans. I've told this story before in a stream. Um, Without getting too long-winded, long story short, the second time I met JDF, I almost had to get out of line because they were only doing cash only because the convention was kind of going downhill that day as far as management and things like that. JDF actually not only gave me a picture for free, but also signed the back of my helmet that I had at that time and didn't charge me anything. So for him to do that, knowing that like even though the con management was kind of having its issues that day, um, that meant the world to me. It's like one of my favorite pictures ever. So bringing us back to Billy, we kind of we had a human interaction. So like the first thing I said to him, right, because I was Miyagi, I was like, so what's this business with you calling me a liar and a thief after I saved your life? What's up with all that, man? So and he was like, liar and a thief, huh? But of course, shook his hand and whatnot. I said, hey, it's always good to see you. Which, by the way, if you ever shake Billy's hand, that the running joke of like strong grip, no, it's like that in real life too. He's got a strong handshake. So um, I presented him with the drum. I said, "Hey, I have a gift for you." He's like, "I love it." And he would, kind of rattled. He's like, "I'm gonna use this to wake up Ralph." And so, I shook his hand and said, "Hey, it was great seeing you." And so we were getting out of line. He's like, "Wait a minute." He's like, "You guys just waiting in line to give me that?" And I was like, "Yeah, like we've met a couple times, and because I met him, again, 2022, got photo ops with him then. 2023, got a photo op with him and Ralph, and then I had him sign the picture from the previous year. I said, yeah, it was always good to see you. We just can't. I just want to give you that gift. He's like, no, not man. So he gave me a wink, and this print you see right here, he gave to us for free, which I gave to my girlfriend. So
That's awesome. And
so
it's
yeah,
a good one. Yeah, for those that aren't on social media, Let's Go Water, a friend of the show. He actually joined Watch Party and I for forgetting the name, Extreme Measure. What was episode 505? Do you
extreme
know the
measures.
titles?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So Mark joined us for that. He makes these amazing posters on social media, and this one here has it's the trio here, the Holy Trinity Senseis. It's Johnny in a red eagle fang, Guy. It's chosen from a Bad Eggs episode, and an edited of Daniel in a white gi, Miyagi-Do white gi on the beach. It looks really badass. Um, yeah, you can spot like a Let's Be Water, work from far away. I
Hmm.
love
Yeah, yeah,
that.
it was really cool to see. Again, I recognized that pretty instantly. I was like, "Oh man, that's a Let's Be Water print." So he had like stacks of them there on the table. So,
Oh yeah,
no, yeah, Billy, always kind, always great to meet. So, really, like I said, tied for like the best interaction. Which I know that sounds crazy, like having that story I just told, but I'll tell you, like, as the next picture we'll see here. So
he's a pro. I shared
for
this,
sure,
when we talked about the Steel City Con, how um he's a good read. Like I took my first picture with him. I didn't do the fist, like where you're posing with the fist up,
Hmm.
which is a very common one. Nothing wrong with that. But over the years, I noticed that a lot of my selfies with the cast. It's like I'm doing the fist up. I'm like, you know what? This is the last season. Let me get some pictures without it. And so it was a conscious decision on my part during Steel City Con to not hold the fist up. And so Billy noticed that on our first picture, and he signaled to the cameraman one more. And then we did one more, just standing there. So I thought that was really nice. And he didn't have to do that. Like I would have totally been fine with Billy fisting me in the.
Well, see, the other thing too about Billy, I also say so. Like when I got it, the first solo photo op with him in 2022, they had my photo ops kind of close together, so I almost ended up missing mine with his.
Mm,
And he's like, "Oh, we got a Miyagi. I'm gonna put the glasses on for this one." He put the sunglasses on for me and took that picture. So
nice.
yeah,
All right, Steve Burns, here we go. There's a picture of you and Steve Burns. You're holding the bone tie.
yeah, Steve. Oh man, he's so for those of you that like you never. So with me, like, Steve was a little past my time, but I watched Blue's Clues a lot with my niece when she was very young. So I was kind of like preteens, teenage years, and things like that. So, Steve is the Mister Rogers of the younger generation, so to speak,
Okay,
and whatnot.
yeah,
So a lot of kids
I'd
kind
say
of grew up
that.
with him.
My oldest son, he was a Blues Clues kid, and so
Okay,
Steve is who all I ever knew. And
right.
I saw a little bit of like the other guys afterwards, but I didn't. Nobody really captured my attention like Steve did.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. And so yeah, so he was my first photo op that day, Friday. And I walked in and went out because like I was like, you know what, hey, like it'd be kind of cool, like you have like these two father figures taking a picture together. So I walk in, and he goes, like he puts his hand like he was more happy, and I'll tell you why with his interaction. It seemed like he was more happy to see me than I was to see him. So he just got done taking trio photos with the other two. And I'm sorry, I know one of them's Josh. I can't remember the other guy's name. The other
Joe,
two Blues Clues, Josh and Joe. I think I could be wrong, but yeah, I think
Joe,
Joe, you're right.
Joe's orange, and then his cousin, his oh gosh,
Yeah,
see,
see, yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said,
I
it
think
was
Joe's
past.
one. Josh, question mark. I don't know if
Maybe,
Josh is
yeah,
the
maybe it's Joe I'm thinking of. So,
okay.
so they were sitting down, and he motions to them, and the photographer is like, "Man, you guys see this? This is a really great cosplay." And I was like, "Yeah, man, we're just two mentors, just hanging out and taking a picture." So we took this picture or whatnot. So it was kind of cool that he kind of held up the line for that, and then after that, he kind of held up the line again. He's like, "Okay, I want us to both bow, and I want you to hit me on the head like the Karate Kid scene where always bowing your. I was like, man,
Ta,
I
ta,
don't
ta,
want,
ta, ta.
I don't want to hit you. So, but we kind of did like the bow thing and whatnot. And he was like really, really great cosplay as I was leaving. So it was really cool. Now there was a picture we saw of a drum earlier, which is the one I pointed out. So
Right.
Steve was one of the guys that I decided to give a drum to that was not a Cobra Kai star because especially like with the viral social media posts he's done and like, some of his TikToks and stuff he does. And he really was that guy. Like with me and JDF, like I still say he was the Green Ranger. Like he lived this character because, he got it, right? And same thing with, Zapka in that regard. Like, he very nice with his fans, very genuine. So, so we went to his table later. I went to give him the drum and say hi. And I said, hey, I have a gift for you. And of course, I presented the drum. And then, of course, he did like the slow thing, like at the end of Karate Kid 2.
Right.
And I said, Steve, I know your character doesn't do martial arts, but if he did, he'd be a perfect fit for Miyagi-Do. And then he was just like, kind of like the and hard thing. And then he did another Karate Kid scene recreation with me. He's like, karate's here, but never, on the belt and whatnot. So he was really, really appreciative. So the thing was, I wanted to go see him the next day when I was not Miyagi and just, I just kind of introduce myself. Like, hey, don't know if you recognize me, but I was Miyagi yesterday. So I was in line with my friend who wanted to get a selfie with him, an autograph, but they were like, hey, we're only doing like kind of purchase right now. And the line really wasn't that long behind us. So I was like, hey, whatever. So, but I did get to get that picture that he actually still kept held onto my drum like close to his desk that day. So that really was really really cool. So even though I tried to see him Sunday, but the line was kind of long then too, and we were just kind of ready to go home at that point. So really really sweet, genuine. So that's kind of why I say he's kind of tied up there with Billy with like the interaction because they were both really really good interactions. So
Yeah. I love it when there's like a celebrity from whatever other, like whether it's a wrestler, another actor, a musician, something like that. When it's nice to see that they also, they're regular folk too who also
Right,
enjoy, the universe. That's always really cool to see.
for sure.
All right, here's a photo op with you and Peyton.
Yes. So as I kind of mentioned before, my photo ops were like back to back. And yeah, is that a tattoo? Oh, I guess that is a tattoo.
Yeah, she
I
has
did
a
not
tattoo on
notice.
her right wrist. Didn't notice
Yeah.
that before. Awesome.
Um, so like my photo ops were all back to back. So they had Sholo and Peyton's at the same time.
Hmm.
And I was thankfully they were like they kind of not cooperated, but like they were very conscious of like, hey, I have these two. Like, you just tell me what you need me to do. If I need to make a lap real quick, come back around and whatnot and stuff like that. So yeah. So and now this photo op happened before she recorded the video for my friend Joe.
Oh, okay.
So I said, hey, hey Peyton, can we do a fighting pose real quick? Yeah. So as you see me here, I'm doing the ending stance of the Miyagi Okada, and then right after the picture is done, right? She looks over me. She says, "You got that pose on lock." So she recognized immediately what I was doing, and it was like, "Wow, you did like a really good job of recreating that and whatnot." So I said thank you. So that was really cool too to kind of get that praise from her. So
I think this is the pose that they did at the beginning of 604, in the title
mhm.
card where it has like the grid of all the students.
Right,
I think that's the end pose that they all do. Yeah, so she would definitely recognize that.
yeah.
All right, the next one is Vanessa Rubio as Carmen.
Oh yes, Vanessa. She was very, very sweet. I always say that both Carmen and Amanda do not get enough love as far as characters in the show because they both keep Daniel and Johnny grounded. And
Shannon too.
so yeah, that too. And
Hmm.
so yeah, so she was very nice. So we took this picture together. So she was also one of the few actors or actresses that wasn't a fighter, so to speak, but I presented her with a hand drum at, Vanessa. So I was like, hey, Vanessa, it's nice to meet you. I have a gift for you. Of course, gave her the hand drum. I said, I know you're not a fighter, but you're Miyagi-Do by affiliation. And she's like, you can feel my Miyagi-Do energy, right? So she was very, very nice, very sweet. Got to, take my time with her and kind of talk with her a little bit. And of course, we did this photo. And I got another funny story when we get to the group picture too. So
Okay.
we saw her again on Sunday when I was Daniel. And I told her, hey, you may not recognize me, like, but I was Miyagi on Friday, and she's like, wow, you look completely different from
Right.
whatnot. And then
You shaved your mustache and beard.
yeah, exactly. So she recognized my girlfriend as Kumiko instantly and whatnot too, and I was able to kind of talk with her a little bit again. I said, hey, I said out of curiosity, I said it's not going to hurt my feelings if whether you've seen the video or not. But I'm just curious, have you seen this thumbnail before? And what I mean by that is I actually did a Carmen character analysis right before season 6 dropped because I said I think I might be the first to kind of like talk about Carmen, in a character analysis. She's like, what's funny? She's like, my friend has actually sent me this video before. So I'm gonna check it out. And whether she checks it out or not, it's whatever. But I thought that was still really cool that she, did that. And I said, and she's like, thank you for your content. I know it's like hard work, it takes a lot of work too. And I was like, I said, thank you. I said, your character, like I said, is very underrated and doesn't get enough praise. So she was very, very, very sweet.
Yeah. I was a little underwhelmed with how much we got of her, in,
Hmm.
in part one of season six. I was just like, oh, that's really it. We see some very small scenes, so not a lot has happened yet for Carmen in part one. So
Right.
yeah, I can't wait to see what we got for part two and three. All right, next photo op you have is the director of episode 603,
Hmm.
Sleeper. So Ralph Macchio here wearing a New York. Help me out. What
That's
jersey is this? Is that baseball?
I think Yankees. I think it's Yankees. I'm not much
Mm,
of a sports guy.
no, no.
No?
Is it? Is that?
Yeah, yeah, I think it is Yankees. Yeah, that's the logo on his shoulder, not his shoulder, but the left
Are you
yeah,
sure?
right
Okay.
where your mouse is. I think
No,
that's
no, the
Yankees.
cursor. Yeah, that doesn't. I
Oh,
like the
okay.
print. I like the way it looks, but
Gotcha.
feel that might be baseball.
Yeah, isn't
Somebody will
isn't Yan
correct us.
isn't Yankees baseball?
I guess you're right, but that doesn't. Is that the Yankees thing? Go ahead, talk about this. Let me look this up.
Yeah, yeah. So he looks like he's also wearing a Cobra Kai shirt underneath too. So
Yeah,
so Ralph, we did not, unfortunately, he was one of the ones I did not get to have a lot of time with. I actually wanted to wait in his line Sunday, both before and after the photo op, but he had a busy line all weekend, which is good, and because I saw him taking time with his fans and stuff like that. But he
Mets.
oh, what's up?
I think that's Mets.
Oh, I
That
see.
makes more
Okay.
sense because he's a Mets fan.
Oh yeah, that's true. True. That is very true. So, but he, when we kind of walked up to the photo op, he's like, hey, how you doing, guys? He's like, I recognize Kumiko and I recognize that drum. I recognize all this live or die. So,
Yeah,
so yeah, so I kind of told him quickly. I don't know if he heard me or not. I was like, yeah, I was the one that gave you this drum last year in Dallas when I was Miyagi. But he was just kind of like trying to take his time with everybody. So, we took this picture. So yeah, it was always good seeing Ralph again too. I was kind of glad we both got this picture with him. Me being Daniel, of course, my girlfriend being Kumiko. So, but hey, Ralph Schmitter, watch your hands there, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. So,
yeah, I know.
but no, he was fun. He was good. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a really nice picture. I like the color scheme of what he's wearing. So I
Hmm.
don't know baseball. That's why I had to look it up and go. I was like, I'm pretty certain that's not a Yankees, but I'm not too familiar with the Mets logo. But I know he is a Mets
Right.
fan.
Right.
All right. So what we got next? Oops. Zoom out. Hello. Okay. Next one. All right. You got okay. So next photo op you have is with Blue Beetle.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, so this one was really fun too. Shola was like I said mentioned earlier, he had, long line all weekend. It was really cool to see him interact with all fans Cobra Kai or I'm about to say Beetleborgs, Blue Beetle. So I said, hey, can we do a quick fighting pose real quick? Yeah, so of course I did the kata and he did his stance as Miguel and whatnot. And he's like, cool, man. And when it was funny because like we kind of did like this moment of I'm trying to think, is it season 2, episode 5, where Chris and Dimitri try to work together? I think
The
so, right?
Fulcrum. Or you're talking about
Yes.
the Fulcrum, where the that is it's season two. Is
Or is
it
it maybe
206?
6? Yeah, maybe it's
I don't
episode
remember.
6.
Yeah,
But so you know how like Dimitri like where Chris sticks his hand out for the fist bump and then Dimitri they're like, oh what? And he just
handshake.
grabs the hand
Right.
and shake. We
Yeah.
we kind of had that moment because like uh I stuck my hand out for a handshake, did the fist bump, and then we swapped, and that's what we both kind of laughed about it and whatnot. So,
At that
so
point, I
I
would just given him a hug or something. Like, yeah, screw it.
yeah, yeah, just bow. So yeah, so I did get to see him near the end of the night. Then he was the last person I got to see him present a drum with. So I could tell, man, he was definitely like exhausted, but he was still positive attitude, cheerful with all his fans and whatnot. Really liked the drum. It was thoughtful, and then of course, got to tell him, hey, I said my friend, if Cobra Kai fan, Peter said hi. He's like, thanks for the message. Thomas said hi back. So it was really cool to see him interact with fans. Funny enough, I think on Saturday or Sunday there was a guy walking in like a Blue Beetle armor, and
Oh,
Sholo signed the
nice.
back of his costume. Like I saw when I
Uh-huh.
walked back later and stuff. So that was really cool. So yeah, no, Sholo was great. He was definitely one of my um the ones I wanted to meet. I guess top up there on the bucket list, so to speak. So yeah,
Yeah. So I this hasn't this has happened to me one time, but let me put you in a situation. You're wearing
sure.
that kimono, right?
Hmm.
Well, if you walked up to Ralph at his table, for example, he's like, "Hey, man, that's really awesome," and just decided to get up and like sign it. Would you be upset that he signed your kimono that you worked hard on
Oh
to? No, not at all. You'd be like, Thank you."
yeah, yeah. No, not at all. I think typically like if they ask for not like when you're at there at that table, hey, do you want to not they ask you, autograph or selfie. I think typically you tell them what they want. So I'm assuming that guy that had the armor, he probably wanted it signed or he
Okay,
asked him to. So, but yeah, no, but
fair
no,
enough.
like if he did that, I mean, for me, yeah, I'll definitely like do the sealant on it and just like, it won't come off. So, but I did ask him to sign the bonsai, which I'm glad he did too. So That was really cool.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more weird. Again, I shared this during our episode of the Steel City Con recapping that weekend. I was wearing like that shirt that I had made that I collaborated with Martin Go,
Right.
who runs Preserve Dragons. But I was wearing the Steel City Con Cobra Kai shirt, and Jesse Cove was like, "Here, man!" And, like he turns me around, like signs the back. He's like, "We gotta get these others to like sign it
Oh,
too."
I see.
And I'm thinking like, "Well, can't wear this again." Like
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
that's where
Yeah,
my
like
mind went, instead of
no,
like,
no,
"Yeah,
no.
yeah, let's do it."
Right, and that's fair too. Because like if you did kind of did without access, like whoa, like it's like I appreciate the gesture, but like nah, it's like kind of what to do with shirt. So no, I get that. I get that perspective too. So I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
So
But I don't know. But I guess like your like red kimono shirt from part two, like that's not something you're just gonna wear to like the store,
right,
whereas my Cobra Kai
right.
t-shirt, I can wear that anywhere.
Mhm.
And so like with a bunch of autographs, well then I wouldn't want to wash it. Whereas your shirt that you can probably encase it in something and just be like, hey, I'm good. It's signed by Ralph, that's a little
Right.
bit different, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say.
All right. I do like how you and Sholo are kind of matching in colors, obviously
Yeah.
unplanned, but you
Yeah.
guys are wearing like both the kind of the tan. He's got a little brown pants on.
Could
All
you
right, group
imagine?
photo. All
Yeah, I
right.
was gonna say real quick. Could you
Yeah.
imagine Miguel being trained by Miyagi?
Man,
Unstoppable.
the possibilities. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. What
So
if? Sounds like another video up your alley here.
yeah, yeah. So oh yeah. So of course, group photo. So funny story about this one. So I walk in right. So Billy, Gianni, Vanessa, and Cholo see me right. I just kind of stop for a second. I bow and they bow to me. They bow to me. So that was kind of a cool little moment and whatnot. So this was I was like, hey, what do you guys want me here in the middle? So it was this was really fun, fun photo. Unfortunately, I wish Hannah was in this photo. So she was originally set to be there Friday, and I guess she had a schedule conflict come up. That kind of happened with some of the other guests though too for this convention. So she was only there Saturday and Sunday. So I was like, but I had like some obligations with other friends on Saturday to do like Power Ranger stuff. So I
Hmm.
was like, let's just do that, and so it's kind of just did everything here on Sunday. But yeah, this was a really great photo. The only time I've ever done another photo like this was I think Dallas Fan Expo 2022, where it was Martin, Jacob, and Billy. It was me as Miyagi, my friend is Daniel, and then my girlfriend is Kumiko. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, a lot of fun.
Good one there. All right. The next photo op you have is with Gianni.
Gianni, yeah, I love the expression how he's very Demetrius, like he's
It
just like
is.
doing the Miyagi Do Kata, but he's still kind of scared and whatnot. But first off, yeah, Gianni, I let definitely like talking about him because he was so Dimitri's one of another favorite underrated character of mine because I was definitely Dimitri in high school, trying to find fit in my own skin and things like that.
Okay.
So I got to talk with Gianni both Friday and Saturday. He's like, he's like, hey, you guys look great. And of course, I presented him the drum, and he's like, dude, you made this? I said, I didn't make the drum, but I did paint it and draw it, and everything else. And he was very appreciative of it, and asked if we were going to the panel later, which we didn't get to make it. But I was like, hey, we got a photo op later, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So coming to this picture, I said, hey, can we do the Miyagi Do Kata together? And he's like, yeah, man, show me how it's done. So that was kind of cool. So then, we hit the pose together, and yeah, he was really really nice. And I got to talk to him the next day too on Saturday when I was the Green Ninja Ranger and whatnot. He complimented on the costumes, and we kind of talked about different things. So I found out that he's studying, which I didn't know because I mentioned I started, which I think you might know already too. I started studying Taekwondo about a couple
Hmm.
months ago.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that, and so it turns out Johnny's studying Krav Maga right now outside of the show, which I thought that was really
Oh,
cool.
okay.
So we kind of chopped it up about that. I recommended him if he had the chance to either get a giant cinnamon roll there in San Antonio or a giant pizza because there's two places that serve both of the well one of those things. One serves the pizza and the cinnamon roll, and then I kind of same thing with Vanessa. I said, hey, Johnny, I'm gonna show you something real quick because his latest video or Dimitri's latest video that I did that one was like one of the more popular ones because of Dimitri's like quote unquote villainous uh change of character. And when I said, hey, if you say no, it's not gonna hurt my feelings, but just curious, have you seen this thumbnail across your feed before? He's like, yeah, actually I have. So that was really cool. And I kind of talked about some of the other videos. I was like, I said, hey, I really appreciate, your character and everything. I said, I don't think it gets talked about enough. Especially because like I said, that was me in high school, and so yeah, he was very very kind, very sweet, took his time with everybody. Uh, Johnny doesn't get as much, well, not Johnny, but Dimitri doesn't get as much love as he deserves. So Johnny was really really class act.
Yeah, he really is. And I noticed that he's wearing a trucker's goat a
Yeah.
baseball cap or trucker's cap. You don't see Gianni rocking a hat very often. So I think like the one that comes to mind is when him and Billy ran into each other at Target, like
Mhm.
pre-season 4 or 5, I think, and so there's a picture of both of them holding like some sort of, I don't know if it was like a sleeping bag or a pillow inside Target. He's actually wearing a cap. I think Billy was too. Or maybe it was Billy wearing the cap and Gianni wasn't. Anyway, it's a nice, fun one. I'd expect nothing less out of Gianni with that look.
Yeah, it's funny too because like you're right. I think it's like the first time I've ever seen him in a cap. So
Yeah. Is that it? Is
picture
that the
wise.
last one? It won't go any further. I think that might
That
be
might
it.
yeah, that might be the last
Okay.
picture that we had. So let me also talk about Jacob because I didn't get a picture with him, but let's also talk about Jacob and Hannah. So
Oh
uh
yeah.
Jacob, real cool. I met him, of course, a couple of years ago at Dallas Fan Expo, and he was very excited to see the Miyagi-Do hand drum as well. When I gave it to him, I was like, "Dude, this is sick. Like, you made this?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, I was like, "Well, I didn't make the drum, but of course, drew it, hand painted it." And when I was very appreciative, really really cool. Jacob's also really always really good with his fans. He had a
Hmm.
pretty busy line too, which is nice to see. I also actually saw him on the con floor Saturday too when he was doing some shopping and whatnot. And I wanted to say something to him, but like I didn't want to bother him there because I was like, you know what, maybe he's just trying to look around and whatnot. So, but it was kind of cool to see him. I guess he's also a gamer too. He was looking at some retro games when I saw him because he just happened to be standing beside me and I saw it was the retro game booth and whatnot. So, but he was really, really cool. Hannah, of course, very, very sweet. Of course, now that day I was the Green Ninja Ranger, so I said, "Hey, Hannah, like, nice to meet you." I said, "I'm sorry, not Mr. Miyagi today, because that's how I was yesterday, but I have a gift for you." Of course, gave her the hand drum. She was very taken aback. I said, "No, Moon's not a fight." She's like, "I know Moon's not a fighter, but Moon would fit perfect Miyagi." She's like, "Yeah, no, I think it would too." She was very very thoughtful, very sincere, very appreciative. So yeah, she was really, really sweet as well. So overall, like the entire cast, like great interactions all weekend pretty much, at least for me. And every other time that I've met him since too. So
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That sounds like a really amazing weekend. While you were like in like the various lines for several of the cast members, did you make any observations with like any of the other cast members with other fans? Like for example, I'm forgetting if it was Chris or Mikey that shared it, where they were talking about how Yuji had like a Johnny doll with him and like held it up and was like, "Hey Johnny," or "Hey Billy," and like like just any of those interactions where they were kind of putting on in front of the fans a little bit.
yeah, not quite where they're interacting with each other, but what's funny is so actually Billy was interacting with my friend dressed as Daniel because he's like, "Hey LaRusso." So my friend goes like, "All right, pretty boy," and then Billy goes, "Whatever, Danielle." So that was pretty funny. Um, Billy did quiet a few times for somebody. He's like, "Can you say quiet, quiet?" And like you like immediately cut him off. So that was funny.
He's got it
That
down.
yeah yeah. Billy was like probably like easily the most energetic I think for everything that I saw. I'm trying to think of something else. Um, Sholo would do that, like I guess for some of the kids too, like if they were dressed as Blue Beetle or whatever and whatnot. So they were very, very good with their fans. I'm trying to think if I saw anything else like that. The other thing too is just their lines were just so, and the booths were kind of close together. You
Mm,
you didn't see them do like a lot of crazy action poses or anything like that,
sure.
for obvious reasons. But no, yeah, they were definitely putting on for the fans, as you would say. But yeah, the Billy, those were the ones I probably like observed the most for sure. So and it happened like right in
Yeah.
front of us. So
Nice. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, after seeing like the lineup, I was like, oh man, if they weren't, just months apart, this one in the Steel City Con, and like this is one I would have liked to have gone to too. Um, yeah, this would have been a really fun one. So, Strife, thank you for coming on to share
Of
your
course.
experience, meeting the cast, sharing all the photos. Really, really awesome stuff. Where can people find you if they want to look at these pictures and check out these some of these videos you've been talking about?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on YouTube, Strife the Warrior. I actually also just split my Instagram into two. So I have Strife the Warrior, which I'll be kind of more focused on like the YouTube stuff. Strife the Warrior cosplay is where I'm going to be kind of putting like some of these pictures of the con. I got a few up already. I'm gonna actually start posting some stuff tonight and kind of posting some shorts to the channel of me talking about like these stories of how I met the cast. But that's yeah, that's where you can find me. Just if you look up Strife the Warrior, I'm not too hard to find. So.